Now you know to set up a Cubase project to start creating a music track. Let's see how to start a music track using an instrument track in Cubase. Hope you know about virtual instruments. A virtual instrument is a software which is used in a DAW to produce some sound. There are many virtual instruments in the market. Some of them are digital and some of them created with the samples of a real instrument recordings. An instrument track in Cubase is the type of track to use these virtual instruments. To create an instrument track, right-click on the left section of the timeline and select Add Instrument Track. You will get a small window like this. You can see a drop-down menu called Instrument. You can select any virtual instrument installed with your computer here. As a demonstration, I'll create a simple groove for you. Therefore I'm selecting Groove Agent SE, which is offered by the Cubase as a stock virtual instrument. Also I can route the output of the virtual instrument to any output bus in the Cubase. At the moment, I only have the stereo out bus, and I'll leave it as it is. Then I'm clicking Add Track. A new track will open with its interface like this. You can rename the track with any name for easy handling. This interface for the virtual instrument may be not opened automatically with your version of Cubase, or closed mistakenly. To open this interface manually, just click on the instrument track, which is you are willing to open the interface and click on this small keyboard icon here named Edit Instrument. If you're not seeing the left section of controllers to open this interface, that's because you've disabled the left zone. To enable it, click on the Show Hide Left Zone at the top right corner. I'm opening the interface of the Groove Agent SE again. As you see, there are 16 pads to assign tones. You can assign tones manually for each pad or use preset kits. I'm going to select a preset for simplicity of the lesson. You can see a black box here and I'm clicking on it. There are many drums presets under different categories. You can select a one by double-clicking on the results box on the right. I'm selecting Pop Kit 3 preset. You can see the sounds are loaded to the drum pads which were empty previously. I have already plugged my MIDI keyboard to the computer via USB. If you observe the drum pads carefully, you can see that there is a unique musical note assigned to each drum pad. Kick 1 for C1, cross stick for C#1, snare for D1, like that. If I play those notes on my MIDI keyboard, you'll hear the sounds according to the assigned note and tone. You just have to set the required tones to the drum pads to play. Let's play a groove. I'll close the interface of the virtual instrument. The metronome is already on. I'm changing the time signature into a 4/4. I'll decrease the BPM too. Before you record the groove, check for the Record Enable button of the respective track. It should be turned on to record on an instrument track. Let's see how it goes. I'm clicking on the record button, and you'll see how it looks like when recording in an instrument track of Cubase. A recorded file can be seen in the screen, but you may not have a clear idea about what's it. Since the recorded clip is too small in the view, I'll expand it here from the bottom section. You can also use the shortcuts H and G to expand and shrink the timeline horizontally. After the expansion, you will see a series of dots in the clip. They are representing every note I played with my MIDI keyboard as the groove. Double-clicking on the clip will open a section with a preview of a keyboard and played notes over the timeline. We call it the key editor window. I'm clicking on this icon to open this section in a separate window. You can expand the section as previous by using the shortcut H. If I click on each dot here, you can hear the assigned tone with each note. You can even change the notes to get a different tone after the recording by using up and down arrow keys of your input keyboard. Let's play this clip. You will hear the timing errors of the recorded notes if you listen carefully. How can we fix this? You can move these notes freely. If you see the timeline, this is the beginning of the second bar, and this is the beginning of the third bar or end of the second bar. You can see 4 beats within a bar. You'll realize that this is a grid which is mapped with the BPM of the project. To fix timing issues, we just have to align the notes we played with this grid. Let's try to align the notes manually. As you see, that's not possible practically since the notes are moving freely within the grid. There's an option to support us make the movements of notes jumps from line to line on the grid. Turn on the snap from the above section with tools. Now let's try to align with the grid. As you see, the notes are not moving freely, and they are moving from one vertical line to another in the grid. Now we can fix the time issues manually in an easier way than before. Steinberg Cubase has offered a shortcut to align all the notes together to the nearest grid line. Just press the Q of your keyboard. I'll undo and do it again for you. You'll see it will quantize all the notes to the nearest grid lines. Okay, now I'll play the track again. It's aligned with the BPM perfectly. We call this process as quantization. Quantization doesn't work always. As an example, if I quantize a piano, the mood and the phrasings can be harmed. So use this quantization tool very carefully. I'll show something additionally. If you see the right section to the snap button section, there's a ratio called Quantize preset. You can change the ratio, and it will change the resolution of the grid. At the moment it's 1/16, and it means 16 parts in a bar. If you change it to 1/8, the grid will be divided into 8 parts in a bar. If the 1/4 is selected, only 4 parts per bar. If I quantize without setting the Quantize preset properly, see what will happen. As you see, it will ruin your entire clip. So keep it in mind when you quantize an instrument or MIDI clip. I'm closing this window and switching back to the main window. At the bottom section, there's a button with letters AQ. This is for automatic MIDI record quantize. I'm turning on this and enable recording to record another clip. Double-click on the recorded clip. As you see, it's recorded and automatically quantized at the recording. You can use this option with the type of instrument that you're using. I'm double-clicking on the clip on the virtual instrument and open the key editor window again. You can see that there's a drop-down menu in the bottom section. I'm clicking on it. You can see a set of parameters including velocity, pitch bend, sustain, etc. These are the inputs that can be used when recording a MIDI track. At the moment, we have only velocities of each notes recorded. That's why it's marked with a star. The velocity is recorded with the touch response of my MIDI keyboard. Pressing a key soft will record a lower velocity and hard press will record a higher level. After the recording, you can add or change them manually with the cursor of mouse. If you use pitch bend wheel, modulation wheel or a sustain paddle with the MIDI keyboard, they will be recorded as MIDI commands here. If you're not able to play a groove at once, you can play as one element per take and record again and again on each take. Now I have an empty track. I'm going to play only the kick first. I recorded in the mode turned on EQ because I have to quantize the groove perfectly. Then I'll play the hi-hat. Observe this carefully. The second take, which was the hi-hat, recorded into the same clip of the kick I recorded previously. If you want to take it as a separate track, or replace the previous take by the latest take, you can do it by clicking on the Setup MIDI Record Modes button near to the EQ button at the bottom. If you choose New Parts, it will record as a new clip. I'll demonstrate by recording snare to the existing clip. You can see the previous take is shaded by the latest take. We can uncover it by dragging like this. If I double-click the take on the top, it will contain only the snare shots I played. I'll play the track. If you heard, I've missed the first snare shot to play. I can either play the missed shot again, or I can do like this. Since the all snare shots almost sounds in the same velocity, I'm opening the key editor. Then hold an existing snare shot with Alt key of my keyboard. Drag to the place where I missed the shot. When I move, you can see that it's moving freely. Since I need to align it with the grid, I undo to remove the copied shot and turn on the snap. After turning on the snap, I copy and move with the Alt key to place the missed shot where it should be. Okay. Now I need to merge these two clips. You can simply select the glue tool from the top and click on two clips. If you double-click on the clip, now you can see both takes there. Selecting Replace will delete your previous take. If you mistakenly did something like this, simply undo by pressing Command or Control with Z keys of your keyboard. To redo a undone command, use the Control or Command with Shift and Z keys. There's an option called Cycle in Cubase. We can use the Cycle option also to make a groove easily. I'm marking the range of bar 2 and 3. At the Transport panel, you can see a button called Activate Cycle. When I click that button, your selected range will be purple in color. If you play after activating the cycle, the playback will be looped within the selected range. This looping option can be used to take few takes in a specific range and build up a groove. Let's try. Okay, the kick is done. Then I'm going to change the MIDI record mode to merge from replace. Then the hi-hat. Finally, the snare. As you heard, I mistakenly played a snare shot in a wrong timing. Now you know how to fix it. If you check the MIDI record modes, there are some specific modes for cycled MIDI recording. You can switch between them to make your workflow easier. I'm going to develop this groove to give you some understanding about developing a music with these elements. I'm going to make copies of this groove to fill the rest part of the song. Click the clip and press the Control or Command with the D on your keyboard will duplicate the selected clip. We can also do copy and paste, as we all know, using Control or Command with C and V keys. Dragging a clip with the Alt key will also create a copy of an existing clip. Now I have a groove for 4 bars. I'm going to add a pad sound to this. I'm creating another instrument track. Selecting Halion Sonic SE, which is provided by Steinberg with Cubase. Now you know how to open the interface of the virtual instrument by clicking on Edit Instrument icon. I'm selecting Warm Piano and Pad Tone. Renaming the track as Piano Pad, turned on the metronome, and enabled recording. Now we can go. Now I feel the tempo or the BPM is a bit higher to get the feel I'm looking for. Therefore I'm looping the range and decrease the tempo while the clip is playing.